My name is Megan and I am a Jamberry independent consultant. I love putting on my jams, so I can't wait to show you how I like to do it. These are just a few tips and tricks and things that I've learned along the way. So sit tight, here we go. To get started, I've got my mini heater right here. Now, of course, you don't need a mini heater. You can always use a blow dryer or any other heat source, really. I've got my Jamberry nail file, my rubber cuticle pusher, an orange stick, some scissors. I like to use full-size scissors, but a lot of people use their nail scissors to cut their jams. And then I, of course, have a nice alcohol swab. To get started here, I'm going to go ahead and just push back my cuticles on both of these fingers here. Just get them nice and pushed back. Now, the whole reason why we push back any cuticles, including the invisible cuticle that might sit on the surface of your nail, is because all of our cuticles and our skin produce natural oils that would eat away at the adhesive of our nail wraps and limit the amount of time that they would stay on our fingers. In order to do that, prep is super important. So now that I have the cuticles pushed back, I'm going to go ahead and use my alcohol prep wipe. You can use rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol if you have it in your medicine cabinet if you don't have a prep wipe. We also have the Jamberry prep wipes that you can purchase. And if you don't have any of that, you can go ahead and just use a dish soap, any sort of grease cutting dish soap, to make sure that you remove any of that excess oil that might be on the surface of your nails. The next step is just to determine which nail wrap is going to fit my nail the best. Now, the best thing to do is always to make sure that the wrap is smaller than the nail bed itself, because you don't want any of the nail wrap to go over the edge of your nail to touch your cuticles or any part of your skin. The best match for me is going to be this one right here for my index finger. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. Now, I like to cut out directly on this plastic sheet, so I cut it out along with the backing. And I want to make sure that I have enough wrap that it will extend past the tip of my finger. So I'm going to measure it that way as well, underneath the sheet. Go ahead and cut it out. The best way to go ahead and remove the wrap from the backing is with an orange stick, but you can also use tweezers or basically anything else that's not your fingers. Now, well, the reason why, again, is because of those natural oils that we have on our fingers. That would most certainly disturb that adhesive in the back and eat away at it. Before I go ahead and heat it up, I'm actually going to place it on my finger first. I'm going to go ahead and just set it down really lightly, sort of on the tip. Try to make sure that I have it nice and straight. I'm just going to set it on really lightly, just like that. So if I were to determine that it was crooked or there was anything off with it, I could easily lift it right back up off with my orange stick and realign it so that it was on straight. So now that I feel pretty good about the placement, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my mini heater here. And I'm going to go ahead and heat up this wrap. Right, just so that it gets a little warm to the touch, a little too hot. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push from the base to the tip of my nail, just in one motion, just like that, just from the base to the tip. I'm going to go ahead and heat the side. And again, you can be doing this with a hair dryer, or blow dryer, or any sort of heat source, really. And this is called the 1, 2, 3 method. So what I'm doing here, when I smoothed it from base to tip, was 1, and I did the other side, and that was 2, and then this side was 3. So if you go ahead and look, got it on nice and straight. I'm going to go ahead and heat up the tip of my rubber applicator, or my rubber cuticle pusher here. And now as you smooth it out, you're always going to want to smooth from the base to the tip, and you're going to want to do it in a fan-like motion, from the base to the tip. Now, if you don't have a rubber cuticle pusher, you can even just be doing this with the tip of your finger. Make sure that it's nice and smooth. Iron out any of those wrinkles or anything that you might have. Now, while I wait for this to cool down, I'm going to go ahead and apply the second one. And again, I'm just going to put my nail underneath, just so that I can see, and round it off just to make sure that it's not too big and not too small. Lift it up off of the surface. Place it so that it's right in the center of my nail. Remove it from this orange stick and take a look and see if it looks like it's on straight. I feel pretty good about that placement, so I'm just going to go ahead and heat it up just until it gets a little too warm. I'm going to smooth it down. So this is 1, 2, and 3. All right, just like that. All right, so now it looks like those 2 are on. I feel pretty good. I'll go ahead and turn off my mini heater here. And now we're gonna get ready for that next step, which is to file off the ends. So now you're gonna make sure that the wraps are nice and cooled down before you start to file it off. And now when I file, I always do it in somewhat of an angle, just like this, because you don't want any part of that nail wrap hanging over the edge of your nail, because if it is, then it could catch on something and start to lift. So as I file it, it's just gonna be, and you're gonna let that nail file do all of the work. Now don't be aggressive, just let it gradually come off, be nice and gentle with it, and just like that, that nail wrap will just start to fall off on its own. And always do it in a downward motion. Never file from side to side or up and down. So always just a downward motion, just like so. And then just like that, that nail wrap should fall right off. Nice and smooth. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one now. All right, again, always in a downward motion. And make sure that that nail wrap cools down. One of the things that can happen is if the nail wrap isn't cool, if it's still hot when you file it, it will want to revert back to its original shape. So then you could end up having some lifting on the tip, which is something that you definitely don't want to have happen. So these nail wraps are naturally very flat, like this, see? And so when we heat them up, we're able to mold them to the shape of our nails. But as they cool down, they're going to want to revert back to their original shape. So if we go ahead and we file them before they're cooled down on our nails, it could pull back from the tip and cause some lifting, which is of course something that we don't want to do. If you want to double check just to make sure that they're on nice and smooth and that they don't come off, you can always go ahead and heat again after you file them down. Just give those tips a nice quick heating and then just push them down. Just make sure that you've got that adhesive nice and strong. All right, so that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this was helpful. All right, have a good one. Bye.